Throwdown!
Okay, it's time for the throwdown, I would say. So Clint, as a D, talking about trust and skepticism and, vetting that stuff out. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, I really look for the repeat things that you talked about, and that's the way I shake the truth out. One, asking some tough questions on the spot and not being afraid to ask those. You usually get some pretty real answers because it catches them off guard a little bit. They haven't had time. They didn't prepare for you to ask that question maybe. So being okay in your own, skin to be able to ask a tough question and really don't ask it to ask it and look for the answer in all sorts. Right.
Sorry to hop in there, but yeah, that's a nugget.
Yeah. And like I said earlier, the note taking thing, once you repeat it or, mentally take it down, once you've repeated that 3 or 4 times, that's kind of the hot topics. It's probably the truth that they talk about, when somebody says, we really love safety here. Safety is paramount. Safety is key. Safety, safety, safety. I'm putting stars next to the word safety a couple times. That way, when I interview again for this job or whatever,
you walk in with a safety vest and a hard hat on.
We are.
That's every Saturday night for Clint.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, village people. Right?
There you go. But just the trust side of it is you kind of gotta let the smoke clear, pick out what things have been talked about a lot and what really meant, what language they reacted to, So, and the skeptical side is really, for me, is just I go in a little heavy and I'm a little skeptical of everybody right off the bat, which I think kind of helps me out a little bit getting the truth, right? I don't believe everything they say and I don't chase everything that they say. And so being a little skeptical is not bad.
I would agree with that. Okay. Al, for eyes?
I give everybody 100 points when they start out. I don't know any side of this equation. I assume you're going to be the person that you present as being, but I'm skeptical of facts and figures and the design. And it can be because you don't know any better. But if you own anything that doesn't match up, then you keep the trust. If you start trying to avoid the hard questions or the problem areas just for the gravy, then you start losing your value in my eyes real quickly. And then if you ever tell a lie, if you ever blatantly try to do something that's, off the reservation, you're dead. Never, ever again. Because there are other people. Yeah. I don't live in a one-horse town. We don't need to do business. Good luck to you. Get the F out. That's a good point.
Oh, wow. Okay. Nanette, the polar opposite of Al, I'm sure. Go ahead.
So I just think it's really important to do unto others. So I'm responsible for my actions completely. I'm going to reap that, whatever my actions are. But how other people act towards me is pretty much on them unless I've done them wrong. So I try never to do people wrong. I don't say I don't, and I have. And trust me, I'm not a saint. But I think it's really, actions are very important on my part.
Okay. I have a lot of skepticism, as we've talked about. And I think that most C's do, right? Because, facts are more consistent than people are, right? So I also kind of, when I'm selling, kind of figure that assumptions don't help me. And I love to make assumptions because, once again, I want to be the smartest guy in the room. So what I default to is digging in deeper, right? Asking the question to make them clarify the things. That way it becomes this thing that we actually have out there in the air between us, right? I really like this. Okay, why? Right? And then when they have to verbalize it, to me, I'm like, okay, cool. Does this line up with what other people have talked about? So I think by default, I push more than I think anybody else here at the table does. And I don't think it's a bad thing. You just have to be aware of it because, I can't push on Al the same way that I could like Clint. There's different levels there.
That hurts. One's weaker and one's stronger. Guess who's stronger?
So if you're a C and you're out there selling and stuff and you don't
I quit.
And you're struggling with the trust thing, you've been lied to a couple of times and you've got this jadedness and stuff like this. That's not helping you either.
Okay, but get over it. Everybody's been lied to.
Sure.
Don't be Al and be Clint. obviously.
Good point.
if just everybody was like Clint,
Oh man, we'd be half would be dead,
There'd
and then the other half
the world would be on
There'd
fire.
be 40 really strong people on the planet.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Because here's how this would happen: half would kill half, then half would kill half, then half would. It would come down to 2,
Yeah,
then
maybe.
1. Right?
Yep.
Good luck with that.
And there's only 2 because they haven't met yet.
Yeah,
Well, they're looking for each
They're
other.
looking for each
Clint
other.
is a Highlander.
Clint is
Awesome.
married to an S, and thank God.
Balance, baby, balance.
Awesome.
She's
so,
becoming a D.
so if
Vicariously.
if you know someone who is also in sales and is struggling with these kinds of things, trust and skepticism, share this with them. If you're listening, leave us a review. That's how we get better. We read every one of them. And if you haven't taken one of these assessments and you want to learn a little bit more about yourself and really kind of figure out who you are, because I was dead wrong before I took my assessment, reach out to us, assessments@salesthrowdown.com, and we'll get you hooked up. All right.
Truly makes life easier. It
It
really does.
Yeah. Improvement begins with self.
Mhm.
So thanks a lot, everybody. Have a good
Thanks,
day.
y'all.